yet, but we will be. Right. Hi, Facebook.
Hi,
Happy Monday.
Facebook.
We are here. We are live. And we are on episode 10 of the Waffle Sessions podcast. Double digits.
Woo!
Amazing. That is so good. I can't believe it. So tonight we're going to talk about your habits, our habits, everyone's habits, and are they serving you? So it's a big subject and something that we're working on ourselves. So we thought it was a good one to kind of delve into tonight. So for those that don't know, haven't been here before, haven't seen us before, I'm Kirsty and I am an online entrepreneur and I'm very much focused on the mindset.
My name is Meg. I'm also an online entrepreneur and self-love advocate. So yeah, welcome if you are new here. Hi Ed, thanks for joining. So habits. I think, yeah, like Kirsty said, this is an important one because it's important for your personal life, but also your business. Well, for us in particular, business. And we're working on it, and we have been for the start of our journey, really. And I think we just wanted to start off quite broadly speaking. I'll just touch on the habits that I've been working on over the course of my journey. Is obviously the personal development side of things, and just making my business a habit for the better for me. And I was saying to Kirsty just now that now not doing my business it's weird for me not doing it, and it's become such a habit for me, and it's become habitual that I come home from work and I don't even think about it. It's like automatic now. I do my dinner and then I do business, whether that's personal development or business tasks. And it was really funny because on the weekend, there was an evening where I wasn't doing business and I found it really weird, and it was just really strange. And I was like, I feel like I should be doing something right now, but I was spending time with family and friends. So, it's just really funny how it's become a way of life for me, doing up my business and working on myself and not sitting and watching TV like a lot of people do or stuff like that. And I know, Kirsty's got some very big opinions on just sitting and watching Netflix.
Do you know what? I've never been a massive fan of TV anyway, but it's very easy to get sucked in, and I definitely don't like having a TV in the bedroom. I never have. For me, it's something that you do, as a separate thing in the lounge or in the kitchen or whatever. I don't like having it in the bedroom, so that you just end up I've never been like that, lazing around. The same way that if I had a choice, I also don't like carpets in the bedroom either. I prefer hard floors. You just get
really
your comfy element. Yeah, I know, I'm a weirdo.
Oh my god, let us know in the comments. Are you a carpet or hard floor in the bedroom? I mean, in this house I was gonna have hard floor in my bedroom, but I wasn't allowed. But I'm so glad I've got carpet.
Oh no,
it's cozy. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, it's big for me, but it is easy to get sucked in, and I think for me, one of the things that people say quite a lot as an objection to, following the journey that we have the potential to map out for them, is that they don't have time. They don't have time. And that really comes back down to your habits. And again, what we just said a minute ago is are those habits serving you? And it's very, very easy to get sucked in and make TV watching, Netflix watching, series watching a habit. And, when people say to me they don't have enough time, I'm like, right, well, let's have a look at actually what you are doing on a daily basis. Yeah. Because if you're looking to create a different future for yourself, changing some of those habits, not all of them, not changing everything up, changing some of those habits can make a really massive difference to you. And it's something now that I'm very, very conscious of, trying not to get sucked into anything that kind of comes on, and we were talking earlier, weren't we? People say to us, oh, you watched that show? No, I fucking haven't watched that show. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was saying that that there's certain challenges in the external world, like at work, for example, where people are asking you, they're all talking about these series or these things that they're watching on Netflix, and I'm just there no, I don't watch. So I can't participate in the conversation, which I I don't feel bad about, like, because I know that what I'm doing is what I want to be doing. But it's just really funny, like on reflection now, just like hearing people have these conversations, and just touching on what you said there, that people want different lives. I think a lot of people get stuck in a rut and they don't actually realize that what they're doing, or people don't even realize that they do want more from life because they just think what they're doing is normal. And being stuck in those habits, and it just becomes a way of life. And it's, now that we're out of that, it's like I said, it's weird to think that I was there once, and that people do that. But
it's that as well. It's saying something, and what the way people describe watching TV or watching these shows is, they're escaping from real life. Now that in itself really has to be looked at, is that we're sitting there watching TV to escape the rest of our life. You know, we were talking a minute ago how I now chill out and escape. I don't need to escape, but how I use my time is I'll read a book, or I will do something that actually benefits me or benefit me in the long run. Sometimes for me, that is just being out in nature, going for a walk and doing nothing. Because that stillness is sometimes needed, and that for me is a habit that I need. That serves me very well. It might not serve somebody else, but it serves me very well, because it allows me to think clearly and actually come up with ideas or work out what I need to do, prioritize things in my mind, and just be with myself, really, I suppose, in a way. But it is that, isn't it? It's like, what are you choosing the right things to escape whatever it is that you're trying to escape from? You know, is a TV show not real life, by the way? Fucking Emmerdale, whatever it is that we've been watching. Fucking load of bullshit. Excuse my language. I mean, I've never been a soap fan really either, so you know, it's not that hard for me not to watch those things. But when people start talking to me about Emmerdale, I literally just glaze over. I'm like, what are you eating?
Like,
no.
What? That's so funny.
Or EastEnders, or like, really? No.
Yeah.
But you know, it doesn't, we're not saying that you give up everything that you do to escape. We're just saying reevaluate. When you say you haven't got time to do something that's going to improve yourself, your mind, your fitness, your health, whatever those things are, you can find the time, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
And, I think bringing it back to the people that we do talk to on our journey, just about what we do and what we're doing on the side, saying, oh, I work a however hour week, or I work however many hours in a day, and it's like, well, so do I, and I can prove to you that I can run a business. What we do, you can do, and I can introduce you to 6,000 other people in our community that are all doing the same. You know, like
exactly.
And I think the excuse does come from a slight bit of fear, probably, and it's like, oh no, I don't have time, don't want to do that, can't do it. When in actual fact, you just learn from people that are doing it. And if it's still not for you, then fine. But you know, I work.
So you know, how do you make a new habit? How do you? So instead of saying, so what we get is, I don't have time to do that. How do you find the time to do that? Because there's 24 hours in every single day. You're not working all of them. What's happening to the rest of the time? You know, in some cases, we can get up earlier. In some cases, we can stop watching Netflix. In other cases, we can make it a point that we do something specifically within an hour's block to move us forward towards that goal. So it can be very small little things and small little habits that you can create that actually gives you the time that you're looking for.
And it's really important to like stress that it is very individual, because obviously people have certain, you know, circumstances, people have family, people have kids, people like myself live by myself. So I'm living a completely different life to a working mum with 3 kids, let's say. But it's all personal, and there will be ways, there will be, even if it's half an hour or an hour, you know, it's which segues really nicely into this book that I'm reading. You've probably already heard of it. Really, really good.
This is a paid ad.
This is not paid for. Oh my God, imagine. Imagine that James wants us to do this. That would just
That'd be so funny.
One day, guys. Anyway, he has a really good way of doing it. Is literally writing a list of habits that you do in a day and put a plus or minus next to it. And the minuses that are considered in your personal world, because good and bad habits are different for everyone. If that habit isn't serving you to get to where you want to be, then you put a minus, and you just see how many minuses are in your list, and then that's where the small tweaks come. And yeah, I was like saying earlier, the whole kind of running a business alongside working full time now becomes habitual to me, because I've been doing it for over a year and a half, like Kirsty has as well. It's not, and this is another thing that James, which I'm on the part now. So many people in this life, I'm gonna get preachy now, guys, because this is it's something really, really important. So many people in this day and age, they just want instant gratitude or gratification of things, and that people want now. We're in a world of instant everything. Everything's instant. And when they don't get what they want instantly, they give up. And that is why we break habits. That is why we don't stick to stuff, because it's fucking hard. Like, it is hard what Kirsty and I are doing, but in the long run, that is when good stuff is going to come to us. It is going to come. Whereas a lot of people will do a habit which is instant, eating a McDonald's, let's say. That's instant, gratification. Oh, that's really nice. But the next day, you're going to feel like fucking shit because you've eaten crap food. And it's just really understanding that habits are hard work, but when you've cracked them, when you've nailed them, that's when the gratification comes. And do you
know where I think the problem is? And I'm definitely have been one that before reading that book and before joining this community, is something that I was guilty of is going down the all or nothing approach. And I think that's what tends to happen. Have we got a delay?
No.
Okay, I thought we had. It's all right. You can hear me. That's all right. That's good. I thought we had a bit of a delay. Is going down that all or nothing approach. And I'm definitely guilty of writing out all the things, all the massive list of things that I want to change and all the habits that I need to create to make that happen. And then nothing happens because it's too many. It's too many to do.
Yeah.
So by doing one small thing at a time, one small change that you turn into a habit, then you stack the next one on top. You then do that second small change that also then becomes a habit, and you stack those habits in a line, and one connects to the other, the next one connects to the next one, and eventually you'll have done all those things that were on your list. But you try and attack them all in one go.
Yeah,
it's definitely too much. Like, it's way too much. And then what happens is you go, oh, and this is why we quit, because we don't get the satisfaction that we're looking for, that instant gratification that you're talking about. We don't get it because it's just too big. Whereas if we go for the little tiny changes, we'll get a version of the instant gratification that we're looking for with a little bit of hard work. Yeah. And you're like, I can do this because you've done the first one, then you add the next one. And the other thing he says in the book, which I think is really, really important and really powerful, is the way you talk about that habit. So we might say it's a big thing. We might be like, right, I need to go to the gym 4 times a week. What's the first thing you do that gets you out the door to go to the gym? It could be, he talks about tying your gym trainer shoelaces. And once you've done that, you're going to go. That's the habit. So the habit isn't going to the gym. The habit is tying your shoelace. And that really changed my thinking around habits, is that you're trying to change something big by just actually making a very small tweak to your day. Tie those shoelaces, you're going to be out the door and off the way to the gym. That's it. And you go, right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, whatever the 4 days are, I need to tie my shoelaces on my gym trainers.
Yeah.
That's it.
And he even says in that part of the book, actually, that even if you go to the gym for 5 minutes, like stepping foot in that gym, you're there for 5 minutes and then leave. And then the next day it's like 10 minutes. Like, even doing it like that, like baby steps, it sounds really stupid, but actually, yeah, it's doing it in little and often, and just.
I mean, and also the other thing is, whoever is really going to go to the gym and only go for 5 minutes. If you tell yourself,
exactly,
I'm just going to go, I'm just going to go and show my face. There's no way you're going to leave after.
And then once you're there, it's like, okay, I might as well do a half an hour workout, you know. So good, yeah. That's so funny. Yes. Oh my God, who's here? Stuart.
As our biggest fan.
He actually is our biggest fan.
Stuart. He is. Love it. You know, so I think you can look at habits in lots of different ways, can't you? And it is about what serves you. What I need to work on isn't the same as what you need to work on, Meg. And I've set myself a challenge, which I've now been doing. I think today is day 29. And it is about just those small incremental changes that have now become a habit for me. So for the last 29 days, I've managed to do 10,000 steps a day. And that it doesn't matter how I do it, but the aim is that I at least get outside for some of that, which I have done for those 29 days so far. And now it's become part of my day. I now, as the day starts, I'm like, where am I going to be? The beginning of the day, the end of the day, where am I going to go for my walk? Because it's now just part of my day. It seems weird not to go and do it now. And now I can stack onto it. So my stacking onto it is now going to be that I cycle to the park where I've been walking. So that's my extra bit of exercise. So rather than taking my car, I will cycle to the park, lock that up and go for my walk, come back and cycle.
That would be a lovely cycle.
Yes.
That would be a very nice cycle. Yeah.
I thought so too.
I remember that, right?
Come on my little walk with me, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about habit stacking. So one will attach to the other. So the cycling will eventually become a thing. It won't be, oh, you keep losing us. Oh no, I don't know why. That's a bit annoying.
Instagram seems to be okay, but maybe
I don't know. I've got a delay a bit on Instagram, I think, as well, which is a bit weird because the internet is like top notch here. It is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in my usual issue with the internet. Oh no.
We'll just run with it.
We'll just have to run with it, and you'll have to kind of piece together the what we're saying, Stuart. Oh yeah. So putting those pieces together makes something small into something a lot bigger. So I'm able to kind of then build on my kind of like healthy, good practices every day, which is really good. And I think what we were talking about earlier is about the days where you can't do those things, and how you speak to yourself during those times, I think is also really important, in that we're not perfect, we're all human, and that some days it isn't going to be possible to do it. But as long as that some days doesn't turn into weeks and weeks and weeks of you not doing it. I think actually in the book, he says something about that, doesn't he? You could, if you skip it once, it's okay, but never skip it twice.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and I think I've definitely been, and it's even down to the TV thing, right? So it's like the same as like skipping something, even with the TV thing. And I know that I've had this before, Cassie, where I then get the guilt of wanting to watch TV like in a blue moon, and I'm like, oh, I actually really do fancy watching something tonight on TV. But now it's because I've formed such a habit of you know, in the evenings not watching TV and working on me and my business. When I do get round to, when I do actually sit down and watch TV, it's like a treat. It's like, oh, this is nice. And it's actually, that's like a gratification as well in itself, because I've created such habits. But yeah, I think that, the way that you talk to yourself is really important. I think it was on Saturday, I think we were saying I didn't hit my steps or something, and it was like, it's fine, you know.
It is fine, because you have to look at like where you were at one point in that journey of that habit change. And if you look, you know, you said today that you'd only managed a certain number of thousands of steps this week. Well, I know if you'd have looked at that 2 weeks ago, you're like miles ahead of where you were. So you have to kind of like look at the improvements rather than focus on the bits that you didn't manage to do. And it comes down to like that whole self-care thing that we've talked about before, but beating yourself up about actually taking some time out for yourself. That self-care might be that you need to sit down and watch TV for, you know, one night. But if you've made it a habit not to do that, make sure that it doesn't then become a habit to continue to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But it's finding those things that just give you that chill out self-care moments. And for some people that may be watching the TV. I get that. I do get that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is nice just to not think and have someone almost think for you, which I think, you know, fiction does that, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. And even today, like I've been open on my stories about it. I've been in a bit of a funk today, and I really I did have to drag myself out for a walk, like, but it's been, you know, I've been doing it and it's important to me. But even though the way that I'm feeling, I know that it's gonna do good. And it's back to that thing that we choose to do things that make us feel crap and not feel good. But I know that going out for a walk would have made me feel better anyway. But it's getting over that hurdle of doing it. It's just a really strange thing. But I think, yeah, you have days where you do feel low or you're not feeling up for it. But I think it's just baby steps and making sure that you don't, skip more than like 2 days in a row or something, or just keep going, really. Not beating yourself up. But yeah, today I really did have to drag myself out for a walk. But it's fine.
And I think we're really good, and I've certainly noticed this about myself in the last sort of however long I've been in this business, 14, 15 months, whatever it is, but is that your brain, the inner workings of your mind is so clever that it will come up with a really good excuse as to why you shouldn't be going on that walk that you wanted to go on today. And it's like the good cop, bad cop, the devil, the angel, whatever, that's sitting on your shoulder, and you're like talking yourself out of it when you know that actually you'll feel better if you do go and do it.
Yeah.
It's really hard, because I know that sometimes when I'm focused on like my health and fitness, I'll talk myself out of going to the gym and tell myself I haven't got time because I need to be doing business stuff. And it's like, I know that my business won't have longevity if I don't look after myself. So it's like I'm reasoning with two sides of my brain. It's like having a conversation in my own head, going against those excuses that you come up with, and we all do it, but they're good excuses. They seem like legit ones, but then when you sit down and you go, no, I'm making these changes for a reason. I don't want to be spending my whole life stuck on my computer. That's not healthy either. And we're very fortunate that we work in a business that's pretty much automated, and we spend probably 1 to 2 hours a day on our business. The rest of it does work on its own. After a certain amount of time, it's just built traction and it kind of runs on its own 2 feet, really.
Yeah, I think that's one big emphasis we wanted to put on this chat is in our business, it's literally 1 to 2 hours a day, like that will get you where you want to be. Or you can put in more if you want, or you can put in less. But it's just making the habit of doing it every day and looking after it and looking after our businesses. That's what counts. So yeah, for people that think that they don't have time to run an online business, like I promise you will. you will, and if you want it that badly enough, you will make time.
Exactly.
And you will make the time.
And that's why it's so, it's so good having the community that we've got. Again, we talk about it every time we're on the podcast, but it makes such a massive difference, because you're never alone in those thoughts. Meg's been in a funk today. She's able to share that. She's maybe beating herself up about not doing something on a Saturday. She's able to share that and get the support that she needs. And that's what we get for our community. And not only that, you get accountability for the habits that you want to, change and implement, so that you're not giving yourself those excuses. And able to just kind of filter off into the distance, into the side, just going back to your old ways. We've all got all of that. And I think for me, the accountability is really, really important. But not just accountability to keep going, is accountability to look after yourself as well, and make sure that you are practicing self-care and that you're talking to yourself in the right way. And sometimes we can't always see it ourselves, and I think the community we've got gives us that extra level of comfort.
We all just cheer each other on, don't we? everyone's just supporting each other, and it's just brilliant. It is brilliant.
And it's so good to see everyone's growth as well in terms of the habits that people are implementing in their lives. And, you know, yes, we met through having an online business, but the changes that we've seen in each other over the last 6 months to a year has been just, that is nothing to do with the business. That's to do with our own personal growth, really, that's on the side of that business. And it's pretty amazing to watch, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And the fact that the way that we build our business is literally working on that, partly working on that. We have our business tasks, but us as humans, we are our business. Like, it's just mental. I go on about this all the time, but it just blows my mind. It's just crazy.
We are our businesses, so we have to look after ourselves. So
yeah, literally.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. I
think,
the biggest habit really is, you know, for me is definitely adding in that sort of level of fitness every day, which I definitely let go to the wayside. And it is something that I always let go first. Like for me, I find it easier to focus on the businessy stuff, the work stuff, the tasks.
Yeah.
And then I'll let all of that sort of healthy stuff, healthy life stuff go to the wayside, really.
Yeah.
So that's where I've always got to kind of keep picking myself up and keep making sure I'm on the right track with that.
But it's also like in the past, like we've discussed this before, just let's talk about we're on fitness, you know, how we've gone through stints of, you know, on a fitness journey, and then it like that does fall to the wayside. And I think I touched on this on one of my recent posts, but on reflection, the time that I was in good shape last and on that stint, I was in a place of, you know, I looked from the outside to seem to be, you know, all had my shit together and was healthy and everything. But on the inside, I really wasn't. And I was building those habits stemmed from and manifested from something quite like traumatic in my life. So even like us working on ourselves and the personal development journey that we're going on, it's building those habits from a healthy place as well, because that's where the longevity is going to happen. And that's where the longevity in our businesses is going to happen.
It's funny because you'd say that, because I think the last time that I was supremely mentally fit, like I was the fittest I've ever been in my life, the smallest I've ever been in my life, the strongest I've ever been in my life, and it was it was a 6-month period where my previous business was just literally losing it. Like I was losing it. So I turned my focus off my business, because I just didn't know how to handle it, onto a completely unhealthy level of health and fitness. And I was going to the gym. The obsession, I was going to the gym like 13 hours a week or so. And I just got totally obsessed by it. And obviously it wasn't sustainable, and it was never going to last, because the minute I went back to being normal again, it all just fell to the wayside, you know. It was like a blurry 6 months. So it's funny that you say that, because I've done exactly the same thing. And it's like, it's that all or nothing mentality. It's like either this or that. And what we're saying is you can have both.
Yeah, 100%. And people don't know that. That's why we're here preaching. That's why we're preaching.
Or sharing value.
I think you've also talked about this before, is even with reading, like you didn't realize that you had actually, but I've also noticed it as well. Even like on my lunches now at work, I'm just like, I'm just going to go read my book for like in the hour and just like take myself off. Or even today at home, I read my book. There's no way I would have done that like before. I just wouldn't. But now it's just like, I take my book in my bag. That was probably the first stack. I took my book in my work bag. And then, you know, I'm at work and then I don't want to go out because it's raining or something. Oh, I've got my book in my bag and go read. Like it's just crazy how it.
Yeah, so I'm the same. I take it everywhere now. But the first 6 months or so, if not a little bit more in the business, people were like, oh, you need to read this book and you need to read that book. And I used to love reading. I've always been really into reading until about probably the last 10 or 15 years. I've hardly picked up a book unless I was on holiday. And I was like, why am I not picking up any of these books people are recommending? It was like really sporadic. And then I read Atomic Habits, and I was like, I've set myself a challenge to try and read one book a month. And it was only, like I think I said it last month, that I realised that I was actually doing it. I was just doing it because I'd said 10 pages a day. I wasn't beating myself up if I didn't do 10 pages a day. My aim was trying to get to that one book a month. And now I think I'm on book like 11 or something ridiculous after saying that last summer. So yeah, suddenly it's a habit, and I didn't even realise I'd done it exactly the same as you. I take it everywhere. I've got it in my car. If I've got a break between jobs at work, I'll sit in my car and read. If I'm out somewhere and someone else is doing something else, I'll pick up my book. Rather than aimlessly scrolling through my phone, I'll pick up my book instead. That's become my kind of like replacement.
Yeah. That's another thing as well, is yes, we work with social media. Yes, we work online, but that doesn't mean that we're glued to our phones 24/7, because we're really not. That's exactly what we're trying to steer away from, is aimlessly scrolling. When in actual fact, you could be making money whilst doing that. Like, it's like, people need to realise this. That you could just, it's mental, isn't it?
And that's where the automation comes in, and we spend as much time on social media as we want to at the end of the day. And obviously we are doing this on social media because we love it, and we love sharing what we've learned and love kind of connecting with new people. And the journey that we've been on is what we want to bring people on with us now as well, and kind of everything that we've learned is what we will give to anyone that kind of joins us on this journey. So you don't have to be spending all your time on social media to make money from it. And that's the most powerful thing, isn't it?
You really don't. Yeah. And you don't need to be experienced.
No. Listen, I'm 43. I was totally the wrong side of the whole tech era thing. Totally the wrong side. I've said this before. My first job, we had one computer between three of us and none of us used it. We used to send faxes. Even my first job as a buyer, which was a year after that, I was 20, I think, when I moved over to buying, nearly 21. And I used to send faxes. Orders used to be faxed through, and all these massive order printouts and these old printing machines. And we used to have to fold them all up and post them out to the suppliers. Like, it's a totally different world.
Whoa.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Anyone, yeah, exactly. So true. Cool. Well, that's the half an hour, but habits. I hope we've inspired someone.
Are they serving you, people?
Yeah, are they serving you? If they're not, or you feel like they're not, then just oh look, thanks for streaming really good topics. Oh, thank you. No worries. Anytime. We'll be here. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
To waffle about.
Literally. Always waffling.
Back in 2 weeks. Episode 11 it will be in 2 weeks' time. How mad is that? I love it. It's so good.
Can't believe it.
If anyone has got any subjects that they think that they would like to hear us talk about, then
let us know.
Reach out. Let us know, because we're always up for, preaching, waffling, whatever you want to call it, about any old subject.
We're just passionate.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Yeah. Anyways, well, thank you for joining, guys. And we will see you very soon.
Love you guys.
Love yous.